Hello, this is Marilyn Hall here with another awesome Oktoberfest idea. I had so much fun today. You know what I was doing? I was making these little pretend lederhosen for this little baby doll because I have a baby shower later this week for my daughter-in-law, and their baby will be about 6 weeks old when it's Oktoberfest. And I had a adult lederhosen similar to this that I copied to make these cute little lederhosen. The first thing I did was I used my mom's embroidery machine to make this little design here. It's an outline. It's kind of similar to what you find on the adult lederhosen, and I did the same little outline pattern here and then on these two little flaps here. This was really fun after I learned to use the machine. Until then it wasn't so fun. I have a pattern that I made that it's a PDF. You can download it. As you print the pattern out, it has instructions. And I did go a little away from the pattern a few places because this little side flap piece here in the pattern is a little more narrow, but my little outline picture that I did here was a little wider, so I had to adapt that, and I think I adapted this shape. I adapted all the shapes as necessary. And on the back, on the little cross piece, I took one little piece of the outline design and I made, I guess we're going to call that a strap keeper. This is the original pattern. And you see how my piece is a little bit fatter, and the reason why is the design that I found that I liked was a little bit thicker, so I went ahead and I made the flap pieces a little bit bigger. After I had all the pieces cut out, I followed the instructions on my downloadable PDF. And it just says, you know, sew the front seam, sew the back seam, clip the curves. And so once you get that done, then you find this piece that shows exactly where to place your little flap pieces. But so I sewed white piping on there, and I've got some instructions that show step by step how to do that. And I have a few pictures along the way when I was sewing. Although I was in kind of a rush because I wanted to get the lederhosen done, I'll show some up close pictures of the lederhosen along the way. And they're really not leather pants, because lederhosen means leather pants, but they're kind of a fake leather, so I'm going to call them lederhosen. But these are so beautiful. I just am so excited about doing this. This is something that you have to plan ahead. I really actually started sewing the outline on the embroidery machine. It must have been more than a month ago, and then life happened. I didn't get around to doing it. But these are the kind of things you don't do in 3-4 days. You need to plan it ahead. The first problem I had was I had to download the designs off the internet. I had to scour through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of designs until I found this exact design, which I was really tickled to find because it looks so much like the adult lederhosen.
From far and wide, they flock out to the countryside to see a sight, the towers above the rest. They come to see the glockenspiel. The show is free, it's such a deal. You can't deny Mount Angel does it best. So meet me at the glockenspiel. We'll spend some times with friends both old and new. We'll spin and dance our cares away. We'll pop until the day is through. It tells the story of the land with wooden figures carved by hand that spin and turn to music as it plays. An Indian brave and pioneers, benedictines through the years, and village folk who love the alpine ways. So meet me at the glockenspiel. We'll spend some time with friends both old and new. We'll spin and dance our cares away. We'll pop until the day is through.
Pin the center of the elastic to the center waistband in the back. Then I will fold this over and I'll stitch it in place. underneath the elastic. Since my pattern pieces are printed on a piece of computer paper, none of the pattern pieces can be longer or wider than the piece of paper, but these straps need to be 14 inches long. I cut out the pattern piece and cut it right here and added a piece of paper to the pattern to extend it to be 14 inches long. Whenever I have a pair of shoes, every one of those shoes that has two buckles, no matter the condition of the heels or what's going on with them, I take the shoes and I take the buckles off and I save those buckles. Here's a whole box of little buckles I have. The buckles that I used today were about 5/8 inch wide here, so I had to make my straps a little bit wider. I used a hole puncher such as this to find the center of the straps, and I think I punched 5 or 6 holes. I used a piece of black 1/4 inch elastic and made a little loop here for the excess part of the strap to go into. There's a small section of strap here, and then I sewed the buckle on by cutting open the back side of the strap and sliding it so that the little tongue goes through there. These lederhosen are not functional. The flap is just for looks. And then I sewed a little decorative button on here. The piping, I use one bit of white piping here and white piping here and here. This that goes up the crotch is actually white piping, but I took the cord out because it made it a little too thick. I wanted this to be washable because probably every single time the baby wears it, it's going to have to be washed. It's just the nature of babies. For the strap keeper in the middle of the back, I know the straps are going to go through that, so I added some fabric stabilizer to it to make it very stiff. And if not, then it kind of would wrinkle up. And I just attached it with the iron and then used my pinking shears to cut that out.
An Indian brave and pioneers, benedictines through the years, and village folk who love the Alpine ways. So meet me at the Glockenspiel. We'll spend some time with friends both old and new. We'll spin and dance our cares away. We'll pop until the day is through.
If you'd like a printable copy of the pattern and instructions, send me an email at ofestlady@gmail.com and I'll be happy to email you printable instructions and the pattern.